Hey guys, Jess from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with an exciting video, and I was inspired by Jen from the Book Refuge. She did a video called Dukes I'd Like to ... as an inspiration from Dukes I'd Like to F, which is the new compilation of short stories about dukes that released. It is on my wish list. I haven't bought it yet, but it has amazing authors in it, and so I decided to do my own version of this with my favorite romances with dukes in them. Before I get started, I want to show you guys this gorgeous sweatshirt I got from Wuthering Pages Boutique. They send me stuff because I'm a rep for them, and I love their designs. This one is so pretty. I love how vibrant the flowers are. It does say romance reader, and I had to wear it for this video because it is a romance video. Every video I do is a romance video, but I want to show it to you guys. Use my code PEACE10 to save on anything from their shop, which is a lot of historical stuff and just romance in general, dark romance. Check out the link down below. Check out my code for stuff like this. So I live in the US, and I don't even know what a duke does. I don't even think any of these books talk about what they actually do. I mean, they're busy, they're rich, and that's it. And they're always the ones women want to marry. They're like, I want to be a duchess, I want my duke. A lot of these have like women though who don't care about the title, and that's when the dukes like it more, because like she wants him for himself and not for his title. We have like hundreds, thousands of books about dukes. I'm gonna go ahead and get to my books. The duke title does fall to the oldest male child, and so sometimes only one book in a series is about a duke because like the rest of them aren't dukes because there's only one duke in the family. So I'll get to them. The first one's Duke of Midnight by Elizabeth Hoyt. This one, he's a duke, but by night he's the ghost of St. Giles, so he runs around as a vigilante, helping people, protecting the streets. Our main character, her brother, is in jail for a crime he didn't commit. She knows he's in awful conditions. She wants to help him. She figures out that the duke is the ghost of St. Giles, so she's like, if you don't help me get my brother out of jail, I'm gonna tell everybody who you are. And so she blackmails him, and they fall in love in the process. And she's actually someone's companion, and I believe her companion is like going after him, like wants him for herself. So she's not wealthy. She's a lady's companion, so she just follows her around and companions her, and it's so good. I love Elizabeth Hoyt. Her books have the most gorgeous step backs, and this one was really good. Then I have The Day of the Duchess by Sarah McLean. This is actually a second chance romance. They were married, and now she doesn't want to be married anymore, so she has to like interview women to be his wife, and so she's at his estate helping him. He has no intentions of marrying any of these women. He wants her there to try to win her back. So if you like groveling, if you like second chance for a married couple, I'd recommend this one. It's so good. I believe there is trigger warning though for infertility issues and loss of a child in this one, so be aware of that. The next one, I actually have not read this author's book literally titled The Duke. I haven't read that yet, so that's why it's not on this list. But I have How to Love a Duke in 10 Days by Karen Byrne. This one, all of her start very, very darkly. So the beginning of this is dark, and she ends up accidentally killing someone who was trying to take advantage of her, and her best friends all helped cover up the crime. Someone knows about it, so they're blackmailing her, so she's been using all of her money to pay this person off. She doesn't have any money anymore, so she needs to marry someone. So she offers to marry the Duke, and the Duke actually needs to get married as well, and he's surprised that someone comes to him because he's known as the Terror of Torcliffe, and it's really fun. I think she's like an archaeologist kind of. She like goes around and digs things up, and this is really good. Book 2 is really good too. It's about one of her friends, and book 3 is going to be about her other friend. I love Karen Byrne. This was amazing. Next we have one of my favorites that I'm never shutting up about, and that is Her Night with the Duke by Diana Quincy. This one, she spends the night with a man at an inn, and they have intense passion and chemistry, and then the next day she arrives home and realizes the man is actually betrothed to her stepdaughter. Her and her stepdaughter are very close in age. She is a widow, so her husband died a while ago, and she is like sisters with her stepdaughter. Her stepson hates her, so that's a different story. But she realizes that the guy she just slept with is engaged to her stepdaughter. So it's very forbidden. She's trying to ignore it because her stepdaughter is kind of warming up the idea to having to marry, and she's trying to get her stepdaughter to want to marry to live a good life, but she secretly wants him, and he wants her, and it's just a good old forbidden time. So I definitely recommend this one. Next is My Last Duchess by Eloise James. I have this, but it's in a pile underneath a bunch of books I have to do for my wrap up this month, so I don't have it physically with me, but here it is. This one is the prequel to the Wilds in Love series. I always forget the title of the series, but this is the parents of all the siblings. So he has 8 children and she has 1 child, and so we read all of their romances like throughout the series, and we finally get the parent story. He is widowed and divorced. So his first wife died, his second wife just left him, and so he has 8 children. He wants a duchess. He wants someone who will take care of his kids and love his kids. The second he meets our main heroine, he is just like head over heels in love with her. He is like, that's who I'm gonna marry. She is definitely much more hesitant and resistant. They spend a night together and then go their separate ways, and he starts courting someone else, but he realizes no one's gonna live up to her, and so they reconcile, get back together, and it's so good. If you want a man who knows what he wants and goes after what he wants, check this one out. Next we have The Dutchess Deal by Tessa Dare. This entire series is the Dukes series. It's the Girl Meets Duke series, so they are all Dukes. I love the first one, I think the best, and then I think I love book 3 and then book 2. So book 1, he is supposed to get married, and this woman made the wedding dress for his bride and she never picks it up. So she comes, she's like, I need money, pay for this wedding dress, and she wears it there, and he's like, hey, I need a wife, so why don't I marry you? And so it's marriage of convenience, and they end up falling in love. It's really great. She's definitely not someone of high class. She works for the dressmaker, but it's a lot of fun. That's all I remember about the book. I really need to go back and reread the series. Book 3 was really fun too. She's definitely very whimsical. She has animals, and this guy is trying to sell off the house next door, like the estate next door, and so he has to help her get rid of all of her animals so someone would actually want to buy the estate next door, and it's a lot of fun. I liked it, so check out the series. I don't know if he's a Duke though. Is he a Duke? But it's called the Girl Meets Duke series, so I don't know if they're all Dukes or not. Let me know down below. Then we have When the Duke Was Wicked by Lorraine Heath. I've talked about this recently because I read it recently and it was really cute. Our main character, she is in the market to get married, but she's very wealthy, so she doesn't know who wants to marry her for love or for her money. She asks the Duke of Lovingdon for help, and I love how they're always like the Duke of blank, and they always call them by the place, so they call him Lovingdon. But she asks him, and she's known him for a long time, he's widowed, and she asks him for help because she's like, I don't know how to tell if a man's in love with me. And so he agrees to help her, and they fall in love in the process. She's always loved him, like since she was little. She's really had a thing for him, but he was madly in love with his wife, and she's completely different from who she is. So he's like, how could I be madly in love with my wife and like falling in love with this other person who's completely different from who my wife was? And he has a bit of a crisis figuring that all out, and there's definitely grief in here because he's recovering from losing his wife and his child, but it was really good. I really enjoyed this one. Then we had Kingdom of Dreams by Judith McNaught, which I did not know how to Duke in it, and I was looking up some Duke romances to see what I've read, and I guess he is a Duke, and he kidnaps our main character because her family is Scottish. I always get it mixed up. I always think he's Scottish, she's Scottish, and she's like the not pretty sister. She lives at a nunnery with her sister, and her sister's like the pretty one that everyone wants, and they end up getting kidnapped as revenge against her father by this Duke, and the story goes from there, and she literally tries to kill him, and it's fabulous, and I loved this. I gave it 5 stars. I need to read more classics by Judith McNaught because this was amazing. You should check it out. The next one is an obvious one, and that is Romancing the Duke by Tessa Dare. I love Tessa Dare so much. Her books are so readable. I did my beginner's guide to historical romance. If you're beginning, definitely check out Tessa Dare. This is the first one I told my sister to read. She's almost done. She absolutely loves it. I think she finished it, and she moved on to the next one I'm going to recommend. But this one, our main character inherits a castle. She's a daughter of an author of a famous children's book, but her father passed away, leaving her nothing. And so she inherits this castle, and she's like, oh, cool, I'll be able to like provide for myself. There's a Duke living in the castle. He's blind, he's grumpy, and he wants nothing to do with her. They work together to kind of fix up the castle, and cosplayers from her dad's book series come and visit, and it's just amazing. He's very damaged. He's blind, but there's no medical reason for him being blind, and so he has to deal with all of that. It's so good. If you like a scarred, grumpy hero, check this one out. I loved it. Then we have to go with the classic, The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. I finally read this. I adored it. It is Simon and Daphne. Simon is Daphne's brother's best friend. Daphne is a Bridgerton of one of 8 children, and Simon comes in and meets her for the first time. Simon has a very sad past. He stutters, and his father completely detested him for it, thought he was stupid, and pretty much cut him off. And so Simon now is a Duke because his father died. And so Simon meets Daphne, and they decide to fake date because Daphne says no one wants to court her because her brothers are too intimidating. So they fake date so that she can get more attention, and they fall in love, and it's so good. This one's the gorgeous edition like this. I love the series. We're reading it for the Bridgerton read along because this is going to be a Netflix adaptation on December 25th, and I'm very excited. Then we have The Duke's Perfect Wife by Jennifer Ashley. I adore this series. I love the first 4 because they're about the 4 siblings. In this one's Hart's book, he is the eldest and the Duke in the family, and he's just so damaged. He takes care of everybody, and he's definitely the most closed off out of all of them. It is his romance with Eleanor. They were once engaged, and something happened where they broke off their engagement. Now she's back, and it's amazing. And I just realized I filmed a video last week where I talked about the second book in the series and completely got them mixed up because someone has photos of Hart, some explicit photos, and they sent them to her murdered and she's trying to figure out who did it. I mixed this up with the second book. He's an artist and he's trying to paint her nude, and there's just like, it's too similar and I got them confused, but I love them. So check this book out. The last one I have for you is One Fine Duke by Lenora Bell. This one, our main character, it is her season to come out and she wants a daring, wild suitor to help her live just a fun, adventurous life. So she sets her sights on Rafe, and she does not expect his brother Andrew to come into the picture and dance with her, and then she's very intrigued, and she, though, it has her eyes set on his brother. Andrew's actually the Duke, his brother's just the rake who goes off and does whatever he wants. That's why our main character wants him. She wants to live some adventurous life, but he doesn't want her to marry his brother, and then they kind of start falling for each other, and she realizes she can live an adventure with him, and it's very cute. I would definitely recommend this. I really love Lenora Bell's books. And those are some Duke recommendations for you. Let me know down below if you have any more for me. I know I've missed a lot. It's hard to remember who's a Duke and who's not unless it's in the title, but that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.